Let's turn now to the case of missing Alabama teenager Natalie Holloway, who vanished in Aruba back in 2005. Two of the three suspects who were just rearrested are due back in court today. NBC's Michelle Kaczynski is in Aruba with an update. Michelle, good morning.
Good morning, Natalie. This morning, prosecutors decided not to bring the brothers out publicly to the courthouse, but instead have a judge go to them at the police department. Here we are 2.5 years later at the same place, waiting for the same three suspects to face the accusations against them in the disappearance of Natalie Holloway. And now Natalie's mother and father both plan to be back on this island within the next couple of days to be closer to what may be now their last hope of seeing this case solved.
Satish and Deepak Kalpoes will be back in court this morning to hear what new evidence prosecutors have against them. The brothers were arrested Wednesday in Aruba. Joran was picked up in Holland. Prosecutors called this evidence new and incriminating. The accusations against the three suspects serious. didn't fight extradition from Holland and is expected back on the island today to face a judge next week. In a strange twist, this weekend Natalie's mother Beth is heading to Holland for a trip concerning her daughter's case that she planned before word came of these arrests. Then she'll return to Aruba next week. So will Natalie's father and Tim Miller of Texas EquuSearch, the team that searched this tiny desert island before without one single clue. This time they'll use a 125-foot boat outfitted with what they call some of the best sonar and search equipment in the world, donated by a Texas boat salvage and construction tycoon. They'll search water up to 1,000 feet deep, believing Natalie may have been placed in a large lobster trap that disappeared the same night she did. Back in her hometown, old friends are thinking of the Holloway family this Thanksgiving weekend.
Well, I do hope they find out something so that it can bring closure to the family, because holidays seem to be the hardest time to be without someone you love.
A closure that might only come from a reopening, a return physically and emotionally to where it all began.
There's been a lot of talk about there being a 2-year limit on this case by which prosecutors have to either charge these suspects or call them not suspects anymore. But the case has actually been exempted from that because the investigation never really stopped. Although prosecutors themselves have decided that by the end of this year, they want to say, we'll make that call as to whether to charge them or not charge them. And that causes a lot of people to say, well, is this then a last-ditch effort? And how strong is that evidence that they have against three young men? Natalie?
Michelle Kaczynski reporting from Aruba. Thank you, Michelle. Rosemary Arnold is a lawyer representing one of the suspects, Joran Ms. Arnold, good morning.
Good morning.
You've spoken with the Vandersloot family. What are they saying about the rearrest of Joran?
They are in the mood of, here we go again. This has happened several times already in this case. They've arrested 13 people in connection with the disappearance of Natalie. We have not yet had any evidence of an actual crime being committed. They are taking it in stride. Of course, it's a serious thing, and everybody feels terrible for the Holloway family. We would love to see them have closure, but Joran doesn't have any involvement in this case. There is no evidence, has never been evidence. He's always been open to investigation.
Well, as we understand from Aruban authorities, the new charge is involuntary manslaughter. So what does that tell you about the potential for there being some new evidence?
Well, we believe that the evidence that they have is not forensic. We don't believe it's a body. We don't believe it's a bloody axe. It's probably something in the lines of testimony, retestimony from somebody or somebody new. He has not had any involvement in any disappearance of Natalie, and there's been no evidence of that.
There are some inconsistencies, though, in the story that Joran told police on the night of Natalie Holloway's disappearance. He was the last known person to be with Natalie Holloway and admittedly had a romantic relationship with her. What is unclear is what happened after, when he first said he dropped her off at the hotel, and then he has recanted that. What is his position? Where was he?
The position is this. He was a young boy, and he did have a romantic involvement with Natalie. He was the last known person, and that's the key word in that sentence, known to be with her. He says that he left her. When he left her, she was there, she was on the beach, and she was alive and well. And you said before involuntary manslaughter. That's an accident. That's akin to what we call here if you're driving too fast in a car and unfortunately your passenger is killed. It's not an intense crime. It's not a malice crime. It's an accident. involuntary manslaughter.
Joran has been extradited. He's a college student in the Netherlands. He's on his way back to Aruba. Do you know when his court date may be?
He's on his way back to Aruba. We expect his court date to be sometime next week. We expect him to be here just for questioning and then released and return back to the Netherlands for his studies.
Rosemary Arnold, thank you for coming in this morning.